Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. In this one I'll be teaching you how to create this cool sort of money heist inspired design based around the Korean version of Money Heist, because that is what I found to have the better quality images, and I think the poster overall looks cooler done in this sort of style. So for this there is a lot of assets for this exact design, but it's not too complex, so we should be able to fly through this one. We're starting off with this sort of roll of money, dragging it out to the corners, and you're going to want to copy and paste this money roll about 3 times, something like that, and just make it a bit smaller every time. And before you question the fact that these are American US dollars, I'm well aware I couldn't find the same sort of pattern with the Korean notes, but the fact that you see very sort of limited amounts of this is fine, I think. So we're now going on to our background layer. We repeated that sort of money thing 3 times, and we just making our background black, just like this. Any sharp corners you see around the edge, you can just remove pretty easily with the poly lasso tool, the polygonal lasso tool. Pretty much just select the areas you want to get rid of, rasterize and delete as you would anything. Just neatens it up a little bit. So the first thing that we're going to add is this main image here. With the gun, you just want to place that over towards the corner of the design, just like this. And then up in that area up there, I'm adding a little bit of smirk to hopefully give off a more realistic effect to the gun. Just drag that underneath. You won't be able to see this much, but it's just a little bit of smirk. It's just a nice touch to add to the design. But that is basically the first thing that we want to do. We're now making this middle sort of wheel of money smaller, because we're going to add our people in and around. So I'm just selecting this first image here, placing that behind and just positioning that where I would like it to be. There's okay. Creating a clipping mask and just taking the opacity down a bit and using the brush tool to try and get it to fit within the sort of roll of money. So I'm leaving one of them untouched, and then I'm adding back in the image over the top of the second layer and just neatening it up a bit. By doing this, it sort of gives a effect where it looks like it's in the money, which works great for obviously the TV show and that sort of stuff. So as you can see there, we got this really simple sort of effect. We're then just making this background money bigger, just like that, so it fills up more of the space of the background. And this is where we're going to add our second image now. Let's place that behind both of the images, about there will be alright. So just put that behind, about there is alright. Then create a clipping mask on that and do the exact same thing. Now I left the head sort of going over the top of the money and just sort of got rid of the shoulder. I thought it had more of a sort of dynamic look to it, and overall it stood out a lot more, having sort of a bit of the image sort of poked through onto the different layers. I thought it definitely helped the image look much better, just like that. And then I just grab sort of these images here. So I've just basically taken a few images from the show of different characters and just placed these in and around in the same sort of area. I'm just positioning these around so I can see which one I want where. I think I'm going to put this one in first, about there. Drag that all underneath, just like that. Position that about there is all good. Then just create a layer underneath that and just make this little section here black. There we go. And then we just drag in our second character, do the same thing, just drag it under that main image, just like that, and just do that for all of these different characters. They don't have to be in a specific order. I just did them in the order that worked best. And pretty much you just getting an image, dragging it behind the previous one you've done every time. It's really, really easy. Super duper basic stuff. Just dragging it behind each one. Just dragging it behind each one, just like that. And the edge of this ended a bit sharp, so I thought the best idea was to just make the main image a little bit tiniest, a little bit bigger, so the gun blends out that top section and makes it look a bit more fluid, I guess. Because you can always create a clipping mask and get rid of any sections you don't want. Get rid of that tiny little section. That's the general sort of flowing poster that we're going for. And now we're just basically adding extra details. I've pretty much just Googled Korean money and added a bit of a blur for that one. And we're just basically blocking off these corners. There's another note, flows nicely. We then want to copy and paste that, turn it a bit and make it a little bit bigger. Position that about there is all good. And then you want to add a Gaussian blur to that, make it a bit more prominent. So it looks like the money's sort of in the foreground, everything else is taking place behind it. Gives a nice sort of effect in the dynamics of the design. So we're now going to proceed to add just some extra detail in, which will be things like the text and the lens flare and all that kind of stuff. But we're just converting the entire design besides the background into a smart object. So that is all on one layer. And then we're just adding in our text, which should go nicely into that bottom corner. And then we're adding our lens flare, which we're going to use to basically add a bit of shine to the text. So we're putting that on screen or lighten, whichever works. And you just want to place that on the corner, add a solid color, make it white, and just change to clipping mask, and then add that on color, and it should make your light white, which just basically works better, much better with the text. And then the final thing we want to add is this overlay, which we just want to drag to the very top and drag to the very bottom, and then change our blending option to linear dodge add, and that just goes and adds sort of a light effect into the background. And that is pretty much it for the design. This one wasn't too complex. Please feel free to use this method to come up with your own designs, and do make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss out on an upload, as we upload every single Saturday. Plus I usually do a short throughout the week. And make sure to check out my website, which is on screen now, darkpeakgraphics.net. If you want to go over and grab some clothing designs, feel free to go over and have a look. There will be more stuff coming soon. And I thank everyone very much for watching. Make sure you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And just before I go, I'd just like to mention the Brush Your Teeth YouTube channel and other socials. Please go over and follow them if you don't want to miss out on any of that. We usually play a game once a week, and I'll just see of how I can make that into content for you guys. But do enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see everyone in the next one.